Hello, I'm here with Lee McIntyre and Melanie Standish today. Lee and Melanie are here to attend Alumni Weekend, an event that takes place once a year in Bologna and that draws back to Bologna alumni from all over the world and of different class years. Lee is from class of 1956, one of the first ever classes to attend the Bologna Center. What's special about Lee is that she's also one of the two first women to attend the Bologna Center. Melanie is from class of 2006, which celebrates their 5-year anniversary this year. We have two women here who have come to the Bologna Center 50 years, one after the other. Now, Lee, what's the Bologna Center meant to you?
It meant a better life, a more enriched, aware life, and then, of course, professional opportunities that otherwise would not be available to me.
And what about you, Melanie?
It changed my life as well. I have to agree. I came here knowing nothing about anything that I was going to study, and I am on a totally different path than I ever thought I would possibly be at this point.
Excellent. Lee, as a woman, what was it like to come to the Bologna Center? And what differences do you see now?
I was, the first semester, there were 10 students. There were 2 women. I was the only American girl here. And I just wanted to do well by Johns Hopkins and live up to their faith in me. But gradually I've noticed that the women are almost on a par with men now, and I think that's wonderful. Wouldn't want to change a thing.
Have you got anything to say, Melanie?
Just about my experience or relative to what she has to say about it? Well, I definitely think things have changed since your time. I can't even imagine what it was like to have to jump through the hurdles that you had to. I think that we just have so much more opportunity to do what we want these days. So I'm glad for at least my generation and my sake, selfishly, that people like Melanie have come to pave the path for us as current students and show that you can knock down barriers and you can do what you want.
Excellent. And tell us a bit about yourselves. I mean, what did you do after SAIS, Lee?
I had a 2-year gap there when I finished my coursework to study for my French writtens and orals, and then for the substantive writtens and orals. So because I had to work, and so it took 2 years to accomplish that. So all told, it was 5 years, starting in Bologna until the day I finished, and graduation in Baltimore. But I was working first for a news service, Congressional Quarterly, and then I got a more well-paying job as the assistant to the historian of the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission, and helped write the story of the bomb and how it developed. I knew nothing about atomic energy, but I knew diplomatic sources that were going on, and our work with the British and other stories like that were just, some were hilarious and some were absolutely shocking. But anyway. And it was very exciting to be here.
I know that after your master's at SAIS, you also lived in lots of different countries around the world.
Yes.
Which countries did you live in?
My husband and children and I lived in India and Pakistan for a period of 10 years. 4 in India, 6 in Pakistan. And then they went out as toddlers and came home teenagers. And then we lived for a period in Washington. I had this reverse culture shock of moving to Washington. And then our last post as a family was in Beirut, Lebanon. And unfortunately, there was an attack on us and my husband was killed. It was part of the price of living in a hot danger zone. And then AID gave me a job for 5 years probation, and I was also following up with his work of family planning and food and nutrition and public health, things like that. And I was posted to Bangladesh for 3.5 years. And I came home and had I worked for AIDS civil service for about 17 years, which was the best of both worlds. I could live in the States and then travel. And I got to see the South Pacific for some projects we had there, and also Central Asia and Eastern Europe, which had just become free. It was very exciting, and I enjoyed it.
Excellent. And what about you, Melanie? What did you do after SAIS?
Well, I think I've taken a little bit more of a unique approach to my career. I know a lot of my classmates have gone into government and have gone into the financial sector, and mine has been distinctly more nonprofit focused. So after SAIS, I was working for the summer with the Open Society Institute, working on democracy promotion issues. And then my first full-time real position was with the Japan Foundation in New York City, where I assisted in grant making and philanthropy. And we give out grants for projects between the U.S. and Japan, focusing on civil society, economic, and security issues, and basically trying to build relations between our two countries. So that changed dramatically in September when I was offered a position in Iraq, and so I moved to Iraq, the Kurdish region in the north, and I am now working for the American University there. It's a new university, only 5 years old. We started out with 50 students.
Oh my gosh.
Now we have 550. And I was given the task of building the university's first career services and international exchange departments. So essentially I have two jobs. I don't have formal training in managing either of those things, so it's very much a learn as you go. But I think that my education here really helped me learn how to do that and how to use the skill set that I acquired here, and it's just been absolutely an amazing, fascinating experience.
Excellent. One last question. What's your word of advice to students who are thinking of coming to the Bologna Center?
You never know what you can learn and what you can use later on in your life. And I found the training invaluable. You already have the intellectual discipline to tackle the stuff, or else you wouldn't be considering coming to the Bologna Center. And every bit you learn and experience just adds to your professional choices, your ability to do things. So I'd say definitely come. It's worth the time and the money.
I would say find an economics tutor that you really love. It works well with you. It was terrifying. I had no real economic experience before I came here. I never studied international relations. I'd studied anthropology as an undergrad, so it was a very difficult transition to graduate school. But I have never learned so much in my 2 years here. It just changed my life. It really did. And I wish I could say I went to the cafes as much as the other students, but I was so terrified of failing that study. I studied a lot. But at the end of it, it was just the most rewarding feeling ever to get my diploma. Mary Lee's right. It's expensive. My nonprofit salary doesn't really pay the student loans to the extent that I would like it to. I wish there was help for students who choose to go into that path, but I wouldn't trade my experience here for the world. I would do it all over again, times 10. Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you very much. It seems that the world has changed, many things have changed, but some feelings just do not. Thank you very much.
Okay.